Hi everybody, so I'm back again for another video. This time the topic is on twin flames. Whether you guys know it or not, a twin flame is basically a half to a whole, but not really a half because everybody's supposed to be whole in their own sense. It's basically two souls that were incarnated at the same time to meet and to basically live their life their life purposes together. So twin flames are typically rare, or a lot of times people have met their twin flame and they don't even know it. A lot of times people end up with karmic soulmates or just soulmates, which is also a good thing. The soulmate's not karmic, because karmic is when you meet somebody that is meant to teach you a lesson. They're not meant to stay in your life, but sometimes people end up being with their karmics for the rest of their lives. But okay, so I wanted to basically talk about my story about my twin flame. I don't want to say like his name and everything like that, but I wanted to give a little bit of my insight because I've been through so much with the twin flame journey. It's been unbelievable. It's been so crazy. Alright, I wrote, so first I had to go through some sort of an awakening first. So I highlighted this because this is the most important thing that happened for me to change. When it happened, I was awakened in a way where I never thought that I would see things in that light, at least not fully. And what I mean by that is, at the time I used to do crazy things or like bad things or whatever, and I just realized that I had so much more worth than what I knew or what I was used to, because I had a lot of bad relationships, and those, you know, contribute to your self-esteem. So I learned that I deserve better. I deserve so much more. I started seeing angel numbers, started seeing angel signs, just a whole bunch of things that like blew my mind. I was like, and basically when these things happen, you really do start seeing life differently. It's like unbelievable. So I wrote, I had to realize what my purpose was, which was to be spiritual, which I know. I had to break down old customs. I had to be with people who matched that. This is basically known as the dark night of the soul. So I was very sad because I didn't know where to go or how to start if I wanted to be truly happy. I did not know what to do. I was stuck. I was like, well, this is it, because I really didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what to do to better my life. There were so many things that I could have done, and it all took time, you know. I started seeing angel numbers. I started seeing everything that is supposed to change your mind, things that were unreal, just seeing signs that I feel a person every day wouldn't think is normal. For example, if I was thinking something, I would see something that matches it. It was just always something going on, right? So during the dark night of the soul, it's basically when your soul goes into a shock. It's kind of like a shock where you don't know what you're doing anymore. It's basically a realization. It's kind of a wake-up call, you know. So I said, then I started getting to work shortly after. What I mean by that is I started working, not at a job, but for myself. I did so much. I quit a job at the time. I was only 16, so I still live at home. I didn't have much to worry about. I didn't have a car, so I didn't really have that many bills to pay. So I started working. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do what I need to do. And you always know what you need to do, even if you don't think you do. You do know. Everybody knows. They're given signs. They have feelings, intuition that tells you what you're supposed to do. And people either choose to listen or not to listen, but for people to say that they don't know what to do is usually not true. It's usually that they do know what to do, but they're too scared to do it. So that's what happened to me. I knew that I had to stop doing certain things. I had to change the way I thought about things, change my mindset, just things that I did not want to do, because I was so used to doing these things for my entire life. I was like, and it's not that I truly didn't want to stop, it's just that I was scared to stop, but my soul felt like I needed to stop. So I said I knew that happiness would only come if I worked for it, and after being unhappy for so long, I refused to be unhappy again. there comes a point where you learn that you do not want to be unhappy ever again, that you never want to be in a bad relationship ever again, that you never want to suffer at your job ever again. And I reached that point because I was tired of it. I was tired of self-loathing, feeling like so sorry for myself, feeling like a victim, just victimizing myself every single day. It was a mess. And I learned that I didn't want to do that. I just told myself that I was better than that, and victimizing was literally going to get me nowhere. I would watch a lot of YouTube videos, would read so many articles, write a lot about my feelings and what I wanted to change. I wrote down letters to all the people that hurt me, then did meditations to truly let them go. I had to do a subconscious reset to get rid of all of the limiting negative belief systems I was so used to and would always hear growing up. I was very upset, but I knew that the pain would be worth it. So when I started these things, I did so much research, and this is all linked to the, even though I didn't mention much of the twin flame thing, this is all linked to twin flames because the reason that I started this was because of the concept of twin flames. I was going through an awakening and I started seeing angel numbers so much, and I remember feeling a connection and knowing that it was more than a soulmate connection. And I didn't even know that there was something, at the time I didn't even know there was something that was more than a soulmate connection. I did research and I found out that there was. I found out there were twin flames, and of course every article has different perspectives. Some people say to have your twin flame in order to be one, you have to this and that. Like I don't really listen to all that. I just kind of go from what I've experienced. But for me, let's see. For me, it was more of that. I wanted to be so happy with myself that I would find the person that I was meant to be with. And the crazy thing is, it started off like that. I wanted to be with the person. You see, it was codependent at first. And as time went on, I let it go. I just didn't even care. I was like, you know what? If I end up with that person, which I knew I would, I'll see when that day comes, but for now I need to work on me because I need a lot of help. And I knew I wouldn't be happy until I did that, and I didn't want to be in a relationship until I was happy, because you need to be happy to be able to be in a relationship where they respect you and you respect them, you know. So I used to do a lot of subconscious clearing meditations where I would clear out my subconscious. And I would do these meditations every single day. 2018, I was going at it. I just kept listening to meditations to clear out my mind. I was like, you know what? I need to find what is this deep-rooted trauma that I have, that I'm so stuck on thinking this way when it's not even true. And I did that. I found out so many things about myself. I had to learn to forgive people that I did not want to forgive because I was very mad at them. If I wanted to be in this beautiful relationship with myself, I needed to forgive these people as much as it hurt. And the funny thing is that I truly did. I let them go. I don't even think about them, and I never talk about them. It's just like something of the past, which is exactly how it's supposed to be. Subconscious resets. They say that negative subconscious patterns, self-beliefs, they truly only go away after 30 days. I feel like I kind of healed quicker than that because I really wanted to. But it did take a little bit, you know, it's a lot of work. You have to write down how you feel. It's just this whole thing. And a lot of people are scared, but I was so determined, and I really did that because I was so sick of it. Anyway, it's basically like being so sick of yourself that you just need to restart. That is exactly what happened. So I wanted to be with my twin flame, and I knew that this is what caused the awakening in the first place. I wanted to be with that person, and knowing that person was out there for me, I knew they were looking for me too. I remember I saw this in a video, a twin flame video, and they said if you're looking for your twin flame, that means that they're looking for you too. And I truly believe that, whether they know it or not, if you're looking for that person, they're definitely waiting for you. You know, that means you're not destined to be alone. You're destined to be with your true love, you know. That's exactly what I kept in mind because I knew it was true, whether they knew it or not. I spent a lot of time working on me. Of course, it was an effort I had to make to get to where I wanted to be. Like I said, it was so much work. It was the best though. It was really worth it. I could link some videos down below about some meditation clearings that I did. I recommended these meditations to other people too to help them, because it really does help. You need to get rid of soul ties or emotional ties, which I've done as well, but you're not supposed to cut them, you're supposed to remove them. I feel like a lot of people don't really know that, because if you cut ties, they can grow back again. If you remove them from both souls, if you see the meditation with Archangel Michael removing them from both sides, they cannot grow back. They're out now, unless you manifest it growing back, but besides that, it won't happen again. The reason for the awakening was for things that came to my attention after I paid attention to the signs. Angel numbers being the #1 thing that started it all. I wanted to be with my twin flame. This is basically recapping what I just said. After reading up on them, I knew about soulmates, but I knew there was something stronger than soulmates out there, which I found out were twins. Forget what you know. Twin flames do not have rules. I was a twin flame that knew about the twin flame before meeting them. A lot of people only know about twin flames once they meet theirs. So a lot of people only know about twin flames once they meet theirs because they're like shook by some awakening. They're like, whoa, this person is so cool and I've never felt a connection like this. Who is this person? And they search it up, they find out and they want to be with them. And I feel like that might be a bit harder because they're there and you really want to be with them so badly, but you have to work on yourself first. For me, I did the research before I met mine. So I found out about mine through these signs, and I felt like in a way it was hard because I really desperately wanted to know who in the world they were. But at the same time, I felt I wasn't feeling like I wanted to rush into that because I knew that I had time until I met them. Anyway, okay, so let's see. I naturally began changing as I was awakening and renewing my mindset. I redid my room, stopped modeling, deleted my Instagram, stopped using social media. I began meditating. I even had my Tumblr redecorated itself into a spiritual one. Oh yeah, so I had this whole reset. Like I said earlier, I redid my entire room. I used to have like posters and skateboards on my wall and just cool things like that. I redid it. It's yin yang plants. It's just, and I know it sounds so typical. It's really not meant to be that way. It's just, this is just how it was for me because that's who I truly am meant to be. Just like whenever you awaken and you truly become yourself, it will be however you are meant to be. So if you're meant to be an artsy person instead of a business analytical one, you will redecorate your environment the way that you want it to be. It just so happened for me to be so yen or whatever, but that really wasn't the case. Anyway, I used to model. I used to be a model on Instagram, and I used to model on Instagram for shirts, for clothes. I used to go to Miami, runway model, things like that. And I was so set on being a model. That was my goal. That was my dream. I wanted to be a model so badly, and I worked so hard to get to where I was, and I stopped caring right in the middle of it, right in the middle of the gigs, of all these things that I had going on. I just deleted my Instagram. I deleted it. I was like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. And I remember getting a lot of questions, and people would be like, why did you stop modeling? And I was just like, I feel like that's not me anymore. And it really wasn't. I was tired of trying to impress people, of trying to get people to notice me, of trying to get to a place that I felt was only beneficial to people looking at me, because it was so stressful. And I was happy. I loved putting on clothes, but in modeling, if you're not good enough for the eyes of people, your career won't get anywhere. And I was tired of having to prove myself to people that didn't even care about me. They just cared about how I looked. But that's not what I want to do anymore. So I spent about 1.5 years alone. I have never been in that situation before, as I always had somebody. I was forced to be alone, and I knew that I had to make a choice between settling or being with my twin flame, which I wanted and only wanted that. I did not want to settle. So this is something that was very new to me. I was always in codependent relationships. I was very scared to be alone. I would have died before I was alone, but I learned to be alone through this. I was basically forced because like I said, I was so fed up with being in terrible relationships and with myself, that I told myself that the next person I dated and would end up with would be my twin flame, and that was it. I'm not doing anything else again. Of course, there were other opportunities where I had other people that I could have dated, but I said no because I didn't want to waste more time knowing that I was on a goal to somewhere else, you know? And I don't regret it because now I am with my twin flame, and I'll get into them. You have to really let go of expectations if you want to be with your twin flame. I remember at one point at the beginning, I was stressing because I really wanted my twin flame and to meet him, and I didn't know how or when. I had to stop thinking about all of these things. The hardest part after inner healing has to be surrendering. So surrendering is the final stage, they say, because that is right before you meet your twin flame. In order to meet your twin flame, you have to surrender. And what surrendering means not worrying about how, not worrying about when, not worrying about who, how, whatever the case may be. You have to just focus on you and just know what's gonna happen. It's exactly like manifesting. Know it, process it, let it go. Do not focus on it. Do not think about it all the time because it will not happen. And it was so hard for me because surrendering for me has always been difficult. I've definitely gotten so much better. Everything between us is similar but different. He's quiet and shy. I'm more outgoing. He's super corny. I'm more practical, but yet we're both corny, and we can both be very quiet. So what I mean by this is they don't have to be. I'm gonna make more videos of what I mean because I feel like this is very vague, but just for time's sake, I'm being very brief. Basically, it's something I've noticed over time. For example, with him, he's very quiet. I'm very outgoing. But in other cases, I'm more outgoing. No, I'm more shy, and he can be more outgoing. It's way deeper than that though. For example, he's very bad. He doesn't like public speaking, but I love public speaking. He's more of a math person. I'm definitely not. But it's the deeper cause of this is definitely our life purposes. Our life purposes are both meant to be here and to help people. We both developed our psychic abilities, and it's only been through each other. I've always been psychic. You see, I've always been more of the spiritual person, and he really wasn't before, but now we both are. So as you guys meet, the energies start to combine and become one. And he now is a medium. Like, he can talk to spirits, he can hear spirits, he knows what to do. We both have a strong connection to God. We both talk to God every day. It's just what we both do together. We can both deal with paranormal experiences, things like this, and together to do this. So whenever we both have a case, or whenever I have a case and somebody tells me their story, I'm like, give me 1 second, I'm gonna go get my partner, and my partner is my boyfriend, and that's my twin flame. And the reason, I know it might seem like I'm too young and you're only 19, how do you know? Well, we know because we've channeled, we've asked, we've made sure, and many of the challenges that we've been through, which there will be many, we have both fought through together, and our love has never decreased in any way. I've never felt a connection like this, and neither has he. And we both know that this is just it, you know? It's a lot more to it. There's so many things that people need to learn for these things, and I will get into another video talking about how you know this is your twin flame. I feel like for me, I needed spiritual confirmation because I have been betrayed before in soulmates and twin flames or whatever, not knowing who really was my twin flame. But I knew that this was it. I was definitely scared at the start though, which is another thing. People usually get very scared because they don't know, their soul doesn't know how to handle it. And that's what the runner and chaser situation would have had to deal with my twin flame. It just never was a part of our plan, because I feel like for us it was more meant that we just deserved each other at the time. We've been through so much, and it was just peace and quiet in a way, you know? Basically, we grow together, we heal what we have together, and we'll experience so much more together. The purpose of twin flames is to overcome things together, to help the world as one. It is to help yourself so much that you're at one purely with God and yourself. It is not a codependent relationship. Do not think that that's what it is, because it's not. You will be very disappointed if you think that you guys feeling like you need each other so bad that you're just gonna die. I mean, it does kind of feel like that, but it's not the same thing. I mean, codependent, like where are you, possessive, jealousy, all these things, that is not twin flame. That is a karmic relationship. So please don't think that this is your twin flame if they're treating you like garbage. Okay, please, because I've had too many people think that their twin flame is someone who literally treats them like garbage, and that is not what a twin flame is. A soulmate, on the other hand, is more somebody that you guys are best friends and things are super easy. You guys are exactly alike. It's just beautiful, roses and daisies, which is another great connection to experience, and a lot of people do, which I'm happy for those people, because it really is great to be with your soulmate too. But for me and him, it's more of a last life journey that we have to experience together, and we don't feel like we have any more incarnations here. This is our last life on earth, which we are totally fine with. We are okay with this being our last life because we both have seen our past lives together, which is another video I'll get into, which I think is so cool that there's so many topics on twin flames. But we both seen our past life together. There's just so much that we've been through, and this is it, and we want to make the most of it, and we will help people for as long as we live, and that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this didn't confuse you too much. If you guys have any questions, email me or comment down below. Check out my spiritual store, electrasoul.co. I'll put the link in the bio, and my Instagram is electrasoul444, angel number 444. Okay, thank you guys.